crafty friends, this is Jen from Katahdin Crafts, and welcome to Lawn Fawn Fans Winter Video Hop. I'm so excited that you're here today with us, and I have come up with this very cozy Christmas light up slimline card. Now that is a big mouthful. Now scrapbook.com is sponsoring us for this hop with a $50 gift certificate. It's super generous and exciting of them, so please make sure you hop along and leave comments and likes as you go, and I will have all the details listed below for you. As you will see, I used a ton of different stamp and die sets for this card, but that's what I like to do. I like to piece them all together and come up with a cute little scene. So first I featured Lawn Fawn's Den Sweet Den from their winter release. I used several different images from this, the three bears and the light and the sentiment as well. And then this is Lawn Fawn's Christmas Dreams. In there I used the fireplace and the rug and the Christmas tree, along with the Christmas cookies and the stocking as well. And then I pulled in Trinity Stamp's Room Builder die, and I used several elements from that to build my scene. And that little stump from Hello Bluebirds, Coffee Friends. And then various different pieces from lots of different Lawn Fawn sets. I will have all of those listed for you below, but you can see I used a lot of different things for this card. Okay, the first thing I did when starting this card was cut out the Room Builder die twice, one from pattern paper that I wanted to be the wallpaper, and then another just from plain 110-pound cardstock, and then I trimmed off that wallpaper section with my trimmer, and that eventually will be glued to the top portion of the base of the Room Builder, which, like I said, will make it look like a wallpaper background. And now I'm going to start working on that floor. This is probably one of the longest parts of building the card, and I started putting down a nice base of E23 Copic marker. And again, right now I'm not really worried about it getting perfect because I'm going to be putting down a lot of different color layers on this card on the floor. So I'm just starting by making some long strokes and then filling in all the little white parts. And this is just laying down that ink to get a nice good base. And I did that across the whole card. And as you can see right now, it kind of looks like a hot mess, but that's okay. It's gonna look great in the end. And now I'm using E25, which is my medium tone. And I'm just going in those each of those little grooves. And I'm just trying to add some dimension and some space between those floorboards. So I'm just building that, and now I'm taking E27 for even more dimension and going down like a thinner strip right in between where I had laid down the E25 already. And this is the darkest tone that I use in this card. And now I'm going back again with E25 just to smooth out that E27, blend that in. And now to achieve a wood grain kind of look, I'm going to take both of those darker tones, the E25 and the E27, and go down and just lay in some random lines and a couple little dots kind of for the wood knots. Nothing planned, just kind of quickly doing it, and it just gives that little bit of effect, but we're going to go back over it with E23 to smooth it out so it's not going to be quite so defined, so it's going to all blend in really, really well. And then just give it that look of wood grain. And like I said, I had no rhyme or reason. Kind of just went in and made a few marks. And now we're going to lay it back down on with E23. And actually in the middle of doing this card, I discovered that this marker was almost empty. And I went to go refill it because I thought that I had the refill, but I don't. But you know, honestly, I have never refilled one of my markers before, but this one definitely has to have it, so I'm going to have to order myself a refill, and then I'm going to have to watch a YouTube video on how to refill my marker because I have no idea, and it makes me really nervous. But you can see if you look at the tip of my marker right here, it's actually white, so it's getting quite emptied, I would say. But it still did the trick for this today. I got that smooth right out. And you can see that it looks like wood grain now. And yeah, I'm showing you how that tip of my marker has gone white. And now I didn't tried to get in the lines really well, or, you know, make a very crisp line at the top because I knew I had molding to lay down. So I wasn't really worried about that. So now I'm going to put on that background wallpaper now. And I'm using my art glitter glue, which I absolutely love for its precision tip. And okay, so these are not my regular tweezers, and I had a difficult time with them, but I have two teenage daughters, and one of them has used my tweezers, and she swears that she returned them, but I don't think so. And here we go with that precision glue, and it's this particularly for stuff like this that it's really good. You can put a nice thin line, and I'm going to put that molding, that kind of like is it a crown molding that they would call that, or a chair rail, or I don't know, some sort of molding on there to make that finished look between the paneling and the wallpaper. And now again between the floor. This comes with a room builder. One of them is a little bit thinner than the other, so they match. Just laying that down, and then I'm gonna pick up some of that excess glue with the tweezers that are not my regular tweezers. And then I'm going to move on to building my scene exactly how I want it. Of course, I stamped out lots of extra images, and then I can play with it that way. And also have some extra images on hand for cards in a bind, or, you know, just some quick and easy cards. Which, do any of you have a lot of extra images laying around? Because I definitely do. And yeah, the seasons are going too fast. Like, my favorite seasons for card making, fall and winter, well, the Christmas holiday time, and boy, isn't it going super fast right now. Yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to have to keep doing some holiday cards throughout the year and not just limit myself to a couple of months. And now, as you can see, I'm playing with the window frame. I don't end up keeping that green window frame. I was thinking that it would match well with the molding, but then I thought it was just too much being side by side. But right now I'm going to create my background for the window, the outside area. I wanted to create a wintry outside snowy backdrop, and so I'm laying down B37 first to get that nice and saturated, and then I'm going to go around the edges with B39 just for, again, a little bit of dimension around those edges, and then I'm going to smooth it out again with B37, and now I'm going to take a white gel pen and just add some dots there for snow effect, and I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. We're going to move along to all the coloring, and there are a lot of images to color, so I did speed this up quite a bit actually, because the video is already pretty long as it is, and you have lots of hopping to do with everybody else, but I did leave those caps on the side so you could see them as we went. And now with this, I was looking for like a brownish brick type of color, so I did use 4 colors on this one, starting with my E13, but then I decided that the E13 was a little bit too light, so I ended up going back with E15 as my lighter color anyway, and just kept on building that up and shading. And then using the E19 for the little molding part for the mantle, and then going in with that lighter E13 for contrast on the top. So I'm going in with some warm grays for the center of the fireplace to kind of look like soot. And so I'm going to just work on that with my W's. And I guess we can take this time to chat a little bit because all my caps are there and you can see what I'm doing even though it's sped up. And let me tell you, I'm home alone right now with the animals, and it's nice and peaceful, which is a great time to do a voiceover, and I love it. But let me tell you what keeps on happening. We have 2 gates that kind of, one keeps the pig in her little area, which we have built a nice little area for her under the stairs, so she's like our little Harry Potter pig. But it's got lots of blankets, and she does sleep in a bed every night with my daughter, so she's a spoiled piggy. But there's something wrong with the gate. I guess she kept on pushing it too much, so if you don't latch it just perfectly, she can get out. So just a few minutes ago, she made her way up here to me because she runs up first thing that she can and tries to get the cat food. But let me tell you, the dogs will let me know when the pig is out. Not that I can really hear when the pig gets out anyway, but the dogs let me know. And now the dogs can also maneuver their gate. They're on one side of the house and they have several rooms, so they don't really need to get out in the rest of the house, but they try to. And then the pig, of course, tells me when the dogs get out, which is kind of funny. She's definitely has a different type of oink when the dogs are out. And I don't know if she's excited to see them or if she literally is ratting them out. I don't know. We call them her aunt and uncle though, because the dogs are mine and my husband's, and then the pig is my daughter's. So yeah, the dogs are the pig's aunt and uncle. She is the baby of the house, so she is a little spoiled. But she can be a little scary, I might say, because she does nip a little bit, and that can be kind of scary. So right here, we'll go back to my coloring. Right here, I grabbed out my stickles, which I've been loving a lot lately. And I'm just doing for all the little white areas, I'm putting some thick layer of white sparkly diamond stickles. And then I'm also going to shade this in yellow and then put the stickles again on the star, but in yellow this time. And I'm having, like I said, I'm having a lot of fun with stickles lately. I've done it on a few projects. And the only thing is that I had to set that out. Once I get done with all the coloring, I had to let everything dry overnight. So it's a 2-day card, which is okay. And now I'm putting that stickles on right there. So does anybody else have such crazy animal house like I do? I'd love for you to comment below. Yeah, we have 2 cats as well, and they rumble all the time. So yeah, 2 cats, 2 dogs, a pig, and 3 kids. Huh. Happy days. And now I decided to do my bear trio and tea colors, so tonal grays, because I am from Maine and we are in black bear country. That is what the University of Maine are, black bears. So we are fans of their basketball team and their hockey teams. So go Black Bears, and I decided to make these black bears. So I'm using the tonal grays to keep building up. And this was a little bit of a challenge for me because I didn't want to go too dark that it was just a blob of a silhouette. But I didn't want to leave it gray either, so it looked like a gray bear. So I just kept on building and using T4, T6, and T8. And then at the very end, I do go in with a little bit of T9 on the edges. And I think that did the trick. And I was happy. And now I'm just doing the little muzzles. And I did those with T2 and T4, a little bit lighter. Even though I'm not really sure if that's really what they would look like. But that's okay. That's what my bears look like. And I think that they're pretty cute, actually. And so I'm just working on that mama bear. And I worked on, as you can see, all 3 at the same time, and just a little bit of a time saver. And now I'm going to go back with my Winka Stella onto my window. And I thought that was actually pretty dry at that point, but I was wrong. It wasn't fully dry, so it did smear a little bit, but I kind of liked the look that it made, just a little wintry. And now I am coloring in the gingerbread, and then added a little bit of white gel pen to his buttons to make it look like icing. And I'm also using the Lawn Fawn glitter pen to add a little bit of glitter. And again, I know that this is super fast, but there was a lot of coloring to do. So if anybody has any questions, just go ahead and ask me. If I missed out on something or if the caps go too fast. You can see I did the clear stickles again, or the diamond stickles, on the rug and again on the lamp bottom. And I thought that would match my curtain decision really well, which is a Lawn Fawn glitter paper. And just adding a few little white highlights to my little bears. And then I wanted the packages to look like craft paper, so I went in with an E42 and an E43 and made those look like craft paper, and then added some red and green bows to them. And now is when I stopped for the evening and I let everything dry and then picked up again in the morning. And I'm starting to build back my scene the way I had laid it out. Sometimes I take a photo with my phone with this too, so I can go back and see how I had it laid out and how I wanted it to go. Just in case I forget, because, I forget a lot. And now you can see that I still had that window frame in with the green glitter, but I'm happy that I choose to switch that out right now with the white. And I thought that that still matched the paneling really well. And then I had to decide where I was going to put the curtain rod, if I was going to put it up above or onto the molding. And I kind of looked up and thought, well, you know what? My curtain rod is right onto that molding, and I didn't really want to give up that space. So I went ahead and added that right to the top of the window. And broken record, but I am still missing my EK Success tweezers. Just saying. Teenagers. And the glue comes in really handy again there with that precision tip, because these are some small areas that I'm gluing down. And I'm actually having fun making this card, or like assembling it back. I really like the idea of building back the room. It's kind of fun. And so I'm putting that window backdrop right into the space of the molding because it cuts out together, and hanging the curtains, which I cut out on that pixie dust sparkling glitter paper, hanging those from the curtain rod. And now my background is all done, and I can start building up the front part of the card. And knowing that I was going to light this card up, I should have done a couple things. One, I didn't want to add any more dimension to the card because it's already going to have a lot of dimension with the space for the light up. And two, I really should have thought about where I was going to place my lights before I glued all my little elements down, because I did make it a little bit more complicated for myself, as you will see in the future. So just, yeah, learn from me. Learn from my mistakes, which I always tell people when I'm teaching a class, that I do it first so I can do the mistakes for you, and then you learn from it. So this is definitely a learning lesson. And as you can see, because of the glitter and the different dimensions and all the layers, that some of this needed a little bit of help and weight to glue to the background. So I just used my acrylic blocks and moved those around for weight on various parts. So once I was working on one area, I would move my acrylic blocks to the other. And so I just did that back and forth, especially with all that stickles that are dry, that's got so much dimension and texture to it that it just needs a little bit of help from that weight. So no biggie, I just worked around that. Adding my little hats to everybody, which I thought was cute. I thought it was cute that they're too big for the little cubs. So that one has got it over its eye that's taking a little nap. And again, if you've watched my videos in the past, I like to think up little stories along with my cards. So they're decorating it, and that one little cub got too tired and was going to have a cookie but fell asleep. Yeah. That's me. I come up with my little ideas, and I don't know, Papa Bear's not around, I guess, because I don't know, or there could be a third little baby somewhere, or a teenage bear that takes the tweezers and leaves. So now I have to work on lighting up my card. Now, I have found a product that's probably not that new to the market, but I've used it one other time for another card recently, and it is from Pear Blossom Press, and it's called Easy Lights, and they are amazing and truly easy. So now I want to light up all the cards because it's so easy. So you'll see me use this, but there they are. And like I said, they're easy. They're already wired for you. So you just have to insert the batteries that come with the pack. You just break that apart and you insert the battery and use some Scotch tape to put it on the back where you want it. And oh, so easy, just like the name. So now is when you're going to see where I kind of went wrong. So I tried to rectify it, which I did. So I kind of used a poker tool to poke through the back, or not all the way, but just to make a mark where each one of my lights was going to be. And then I'm temporarily putting down the light pack right now. And again with Scotch tape so I can move it all around. And I use my pen knife to cut out little areas, but they have to be cut out much bigger. But I wanted to get the lay of my lights down right now. And so I'm using a little bit of Scotch tape, and they can be manipulated any way that you want them to be. So super simple. Just add that tape wherever to put it down. So I'm just adding that, and then I'm going to build my little areas bigger. Now, if I had done this before I glued my elements to the front, I could have just cut right through and then covered up the back, but I didn't. So now I'm just showing you how I can tell with each layer that I pull out where I need to be. So this is the yellow star, so I knew once I hit the yellow layer, and this really didn't take me as long as you may think. It was just a matter of a little bit of time and a little bit of effort and some patience with a light hand so you didn't go too many layers at once. So I just took my time and got each area out, and you can see, and then I just tested it, which it was working really well. And so I did that with all 3 spots, and then you can see right here how easy it was once I decided how wide that I wanted, and then I just cut that and it popped right out. So not a biggie. And then put my light on. And I just made sure that those lights face down. And now I made this, the light area, the lamp, a little bit larger. And now I'm just taking off that wallpaper layer. And I know that I'm there in that yellow spot again. And I do go ahead and make that 1 step larger before I'm said and done. But I did that off of camera. And then just put those down again with the light facing toward the light source where you want it to be shining. And now here goes my card and a prayer. Yep, see, crossing my fingers. I hate stamping directly onto anything, but I needed to. I needed that little push here stamp to be there. And also in the back, I went ahead and put that down where I wanted it, the little pack with the push button and the battery, exactly where it needed to be, and then just adhere that really well with some Scotch tape. And now I'm going to double layer some foam tape all around the edges and in the inside as well for stability. You don't want somebody to push it and then have it cave in the middle or anything like that. So I just make sure that I'm pretty generous with my foam tape. When you're doing something this, time consuming and with this much effort into it, you don't want it to cave in the mail or in somebody's hand. So just make sure you're not stingy on that foam tape. And then just add that to cover the whole thing around the edges, like I said, and then in between. In the bottom section, I had to cut that in order to fit by that battery pack. And then I just used the cut part that I did in half on the top as well. And so I have that pretty well covered. You can go right over the wires. Nothing is going to bother it. And you can see how everything's working. So when I push it here, all 3 lights light up. And now I cut a frame out of the glitter paper from Lawn Fawn and adhered that down to my 9x4 card base. That is my card base of choice, the size. And then that's perfectly sized to fit my card panel. And then just pop that in there, and that matches that molding. And now I needed a sentiment, so I used this out of the Den, Sweet Den, and pieced together Have a Very Cozy Christmas on my Misty and stamp that out. And I decided to leave that white. I thought that popped out well and it already matched everything. I contemplated for a while if I needed a color, but I ultimately thought white was the best choice. And then this is another reason why I love liquid glue for the wiggle room. As you can see, I wiggled that all around the place until I found where I wanted it. And there you have it, a cute slimline light up card that was super easy to assemble, and I love it. Thank you so much for stopping in and crafting with me today. Please make sure that you hop along. The next hop will be listed below, and leave those comments and likes because we really appreciate all of them. And that will also enter you into that $50 gift certificate, which is huge, with scrapbook.com. And they have lots and lots of Lawn Fawn goodies in their shop. So make sure you check that out, please. And thanks so much to all my Lawn Fawn fans, friends. Such a fun group to be involved with, and we all love Lawn Fawn so much. That's how we found each other. So thanks to you girls. I really appreciate us doing this hop every few months together. Happy holidays and happy crafting. See you next time.